Roadrunner Rundown on Bakersfield.com and the CSUB Roadrunners Digital Network.
Off the screen, Basil, 2 seconds. Basil for the win! Yeah! We're going to the NCAA tournament!
And it's a called strike 3 over the inside corner, and Bakersfield has done it. They win the WAC championship. And over to Sydney Haynes off the block, and the Roadrunners win
Live
it.
from downtown Bakersfield, California, here's the voice of the Runners, Corey Costello.
Welcome in once again to Roadrunner Rundown, the official program, CSUB Roadrunner Athletics. I'm Corey Costello. Thanks for joining us on this edition of the show. It is our basketball preview edition. The basketball season gets going next week, and so before the coaches get too busy, we want to get them both in studio to talk about their 2016-17 squads. We'll be speaking with women's basketball head coach Greg McCall and men's basketball head coach Rod Barnes on the program today as we preview the Roadrunner seasons. The men's team will open up on November the 9th in an exhibition against the Masters University, and then a couple nights later, their official home opener on November the 12th, Saturday night, against San Diego Christian, 7 o'clock at the Icardo Center. Women's team opens the next day, November 13th. They'll host Hawaii, one of the favorites in the Big West Conference, coming up at 1 o'clock on November the 13th. So basketball season right around the corner, and we will talk hoops on this week's edition of Roadrunner Rundown. So we've got that to look forward to. Also, want to promote next week on the program, CSUB President Dr. Horace Mitchell will be stopping by. We'll talk a lot about CSUB and, of course, the role with athletics involved in that, but the school making a lot of changes and a lot of really upward surgence in the last several years under Dr. Mitchell. We'll talk with him about that on next week's program. So good shows coming up in the next couple weeks. Let's get to today's. We got a lot of highlights to get to as a couple seasons are winding down, including women's soccer, who is in a good spot heading into the WAC tournament. We'll go to their final regular season game. This was Saturday night at the main soccer field. Haley Vincent off the corner kick finds Amina Settles on the putback, and the Roadrunners are up 1-0. Let's take another look at that. Nice stick-with-itness there by Amina Settles. She gets the first foot, and it gets turned away, and then she knocks it in the second time, her 5th goal of the season. Big story in the game, though, was Jen Padilla in goal. She had 13 saves for the Roadrunners. GCU pressured her a lot, but there's Padilla, a combination of her and the Roadrunners defense coming up right here, helping, and a few missed chances as well by GCU helping things, but Padilla was solid. She stood strong. Couple solid saves and missed chances by GCU in the first half. Another good threat right here, but a good save, diving save by Padilla, and runners up 1-0. Second half action, check this out. GCU on the move. Watch this. She falls down. The official says penalty. And not only that, penalty kick. Let's look at it one more time. Zoomed in. You make the call. Yeah, that gave GCU the penalty kick and the equalizer, as well as they get the tie at 1 apiece. More Padilla keeping this one even. Sliding save here off a close chance. Then she pops back up and makes the save again. CSUB with a few chances as well. Good run for Settles. She tries to find the cross, but the GCU defense turning things away. And after all of this and all of that, we will head to overtime in this regular season finale between the Runners and Grand Canyon. Haley Vincent off a direct kick early as Runners on the move, and this one knocked around, but a good save coming up here by GCU. Second OT, here we come. Lopes on the move. Actually, the Runners, good shot there by Sophie Freeman. That was saved by Blakely Frosch. Now second overtime. Lopes on the move. An important play here. Padilla coming out of the box. She is going to just get enough of that ball to keep it off the Lopes foot, but then the Runners have to go in, and they can't use their hands. What a play by Mel Saya and Darianne Gambetta. They fill in. Another look at it. Look at this. They got to defend the goal, and they do it beautifully, and they hold the 1-1 draw, and that's how we ended up on Saturday night, 1-1. The Runners in Grand Canyon in the regular season tied for second place in the conference, although CSUB locks up the number 2 seed in the WAC tournament. And here's what's coming up for the Roadrunners. You got it right. The Roadrunners, number 2 seed in the upcoming WAC women's soccer tournament, coming up this week at Durwood Soccer Stadium in Kansas City. The Roadrunners, they're the number 2 seed. They have a first-round bye. It's the highest ever postseason finish for the Roadrunners, as they will take on the winner of number 3 UMKC and number 6 UTRGV. The Roadrunners beat UTRGV. Remember last week or 2 weeks ago on that 90th minute goal. They also lost 3-0 at Kansas City this season, but they had a good opportunity here to possibly make their first ever WAC championship game. On the other side of the bracket, number 1 Seattle U awaits the winner of number 4 Utah Valley, number 5 New Mexico State. Intriguing there, Utah Valley and Seattle U played for the championship last year. They're going to meet in the semifinals potentially this year. So a good road for the Roadrunners. They just got to handle business on their semifinals, try to get to their first ever final. You can watch the entire WAC tournament on the WAC Digital Network. On to CSUB volleyball. Runners getting close to the end of their schedule. They have a couple weeks left in their regular season. They led in game 1 here at UTRGV. Carol Grasso denied once, not the second time. CSUB will lead by 7 here in the first set. UTRGV playing very well at home, and so they are not going away as Alexandra Ecker with the kill. UTRGV within 5. Runners, though, pretty balanced as Katie Dunbar-Lowe picks one of her 13 kills in the match. CSUB by 6 again. 23-18, the Runners on the rally. They did a nice job rallying in this match all night long. Finally gets back to the Runners' side as UTRGV keeps it going, and then it get back to the Runners' side, and they will set Dunbar-Lowe again with the kill. Just catches it on the line. And set point for CSUB, and easy pickings when the Vaqueros serve long. Runners win the first set 25-19. Second set action, Roadrunners trailing by 5, 21-15, and the Vaqueros make it more. Bojana Mitrovic with the kill. She had 10 in the match. Runners not as sharp as they wanted in this set, passing a little difficult as well, not creating good chances for them and better chances for UTRGV. Runners trailing by 8. Rally at the net here coming up, and the Runners going to be able to keep things alive as they work it back to the other side, and Sydney Haynes able to poke it over to the top, and one of her 8 kills. Runners within 5 again. There's Sophie Fleming back from injury. Good to see her back and serving and taking part in this point right here as well for the Roadrunners as they just able to sneak it over the top. They cut within 6. And Runners, though, trailing a little bit here, and they get their offense rolling a little bit, but UTRGV able to close out the second set 25-18. Third set, CSUB trailing by 3, but the Roadrunners get their offense going again. Katie Dunbar-Lowe coming through and making it a 2-point game. Then Carol Grasso serving. You know what happens when she serves? Bad things, man. There it is. Another ace for Grasso, and CSUB makes it a 1-point game. Grasso again at the line. This one actually hit so hard and passed so hard by the Vaqueros, it comes to the CSUB side of the net for a point. It was hit that hard. Runners down by 2, blocked but out, and they make it a 1-point game again. This is Jocelyn Rodriguez serve. It's not passed very well. Vaqueros are going to put this one right into the net, and we are tied at 18. Rodriguez again, another ace for CSUB. Not going to handle that one. They had 10 in the match, and the Runners have their first lead of the third set. Runners trying to build on it. It's a nice rally from both sides. As these teams do this a lot, eventually it serves back to UTRGV, and again, the Runners are going to set Carol Grasso on the outside, and she's going to put it down with the kill. Actually, this kill went to Courtney Freeland. Runners then go up by a pair. Take it up to 23 all. Sydney Haynes serving. And CSUB defending very well as they did pretty much all match long. And you don't just set Grasso, you just kind of pass it her way, and she'll take the rest. She had 18 kills in the match. Point game, CSUB. Runners keep rallies alive all match again, no exception here. This is going to be touched out by UTRGV, and the Runners win the third set, 25-23. Fourth set, CSB looking to close this one out, but Carroll serving in 2018. Runners set Grasso. This time, she just taps it over the top. I mean, no need for force. Runners up by 3. Serving it, the Vaqueros are going to get a point back, though, off this block attempt as it goes out. And next point, though, Carol Grasso not to be denied the solo block at the net. It's CSUB again with a 3-point lead. Then it's the Runners a perfect set to Sydney Haynes, who drills this one, and the Runners are points away from the victory. Here it is, match point for CSUB. Checked out this hustle. First, the pancake by Maddie Bustler keeps the rally alive once, and then back to Grasso, allows CSUB to play the over. Then the Runners finally going to be able on this attempt to get their offense set up, and they do a very nice job there. They set it out, and it's going to be dug, though, by UTRGV. Runners then at the net. That'll be a game winner right there. Katie Dunbar-Lowe, Courtney Freeland with the block. Runners win 3-1 on the road at UTRGV. Carol Grasso, her 11th double-double for the Runners in the victory. That was a big win. That was UTRGV's first home loss of the season. Saturday was even bigger victory for the Roadrunners. They beat New Mexico State 3-1. It snapped a 26-match winning streak for New Mexico State against WAC opponents. The last time they had lost to a WAC team, it was the Roadrunners in the 2014 WAC tournament here in Bakersfield. So CSUB CSUB with a big victory on the road. Carol Grasso, her 12th double-double of the season for her efforts. Runners held New Mexico State to just 0-6-2 hitting. They also forced 32 errors by the Aggies. Grasso also named WAC Athlete of the Week for her efforts. Here's what's coming up for volleyball. As we mentioned, they got a couple weeks left in their regular season. They'll be at home, their final home game coming up on Thursday at 7 o'clock as they host Chicago State at the Icardo Center. And then Saturday, 1 p.m., the Roadrunners host UMKC, one of the teams they lost to earlier this year, and Runners right now in all these last four very important for Bakersfield because look at the standings and the Roadrunners right there near the top, 7-3 in second place. They still have matches coming up against Kansas City and Utah Valley, who are right behind them. Seattle U as well, who's down at 5-6, still upcoming on the Roadrunners schedule. But New Mexico State at 10-1, thanks to CSUB. Runners at 7-3. Then you see the rest of the conference standings right there. WAC tournament coming up in a couple weeks in Las Cruces, New Mexico. On to men's soccer, CSUB needs as much help as they can get right now to make their conference tournament. They helped themselves a little bit on Thursday night, or make that Friday night, with their 2-0 win over UMKC as Nicholas Korber recorded 2 goals for Bakersfield. The luck didn't quite stick with him, though, in Phoenix on Sunday as they lost 2-1 to Grand Canyon. So it's kind of a must-win scenario for the Runners. Here's what they have coming up as they're going to be hosting Houston Baptist, one final regular season game Saturday night, 7 p.m. You can watch it live on the WAC Digital Network, but the Runners basically need to win. They're tied with Houston Baptist right now. Winner most likely gets that last spot in the tournament. Here's Utah Valley, Seattle, Air Force, UNLV, all locked in. UTRGV, San Jose State, Houston Baptist, and CSUB all fighting for those final spots there in the WAC tournament. Their top 6 eligible will be taken. So number 6, you can see, is 5 and 6 kind of still up for grabs. The Runners basically need to win. That's their best bet in leapfrogging San Jose State and UTRGV for one of those spots in the WAC tournament. So a must win for the Runners on Saturday night. Real quick final note, CSUB cross country rounding out their regular season at the WAC Championships in Seattle last weekend. Angel Valdez, a 5K time of 18:40.40. That was good for 11th overall, and the top 12 are all WAC, so congratulations to Angel Valdez becoming the first Roadrunner to win an all WAC honor in the sport of cross country with her time of 18:40.40. And she and Paradise Pelzer will compete in the NCAA Regionals in 2 weeks in Sacramento on November the 11th as the Runners take part in the West Regionals. So congratulations to Angel Valdez for a good showing for CSUB's cross country in Seattle. All right, as you see, some of these sports are starting to wind down. Women's soccer championship tournament coming up this week. Cross country is already in the books. They've got regionals. Men's soccer starts next week, and volleyball in 2 weeks. So we're kind of getting through the fall, getting ready for the winter. That means basketball. That's what we're going to talk about next. Greg McCall, CSUB women's basketball head coach, will join us next on the program. And then, of course, Rod Barnes, CSUB men's coach, joins us a bit later as well. So basketball right around the corner as the calendar switches to November. We'll talk about that next. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Rundown.
Off the screen, Basil, 2 seconds.
What shall I do to put myself by your side? What shall I do to put myself along by your side?
We're Kern County, and we have a lot in which to be proud. We connect California, power the nation, and confidently charge towards our short and long-term goals. We work hard to make our county a great place to live, learn, and dream. And anyone who calls Kern County home can help make our community stronger, schools better, and futures brighter. Together, let's turn more local dreams into realities so we can make life as it should be. Kern Schools. Together, we have something special.
We strive to achieve excellence through determination and hard work.
We are committed to learning from those around us.
Our professors and peers
our coaches and teammates.
And our opponents.
We compete with integrity and passion.
And we seize our moment when the opportunity arises.
We take pride in our communities.
And believe that we can inspire others
just as they can inspire us.
We may wear different colors, but we share the same purpose.
We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are
the Western Athletic Conference.
Basil, 2 seconds. Basil for the win!
CSU Bakersfield, champions made here.
What a moment!
Last week on Roadrunner Rundown, we speak with new head wrestling coach Manny Rivera about his first season at the helm of Roadrunners Wrestling.
Like I said, we're young, but we got a lot of hungry guys, and for us, we're going to try to beat someone people don't think we're supposed to, and whoever that is, whoever comes in or wherever we go, we're going to try to knock off some teams that maybe people aren't expecting us to beat. The tradition here, the rich tradition. There's just, you can list off a giant list of names of people who have come through this program. Great teams, great coaches, everything. Bakersfield is a wrestling town. This is a wrestling school.
Plus, a look at the upcoming Bakersfield Marathon, which will benefit the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund.
This is a huge community endeavor, right? So we're looking for, I believe the last count was 547 volunteers.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, in order to make this event work, we have to have people out there. And people have been great. They're signing up. We have tons of jobs.
Now playing on demand on GoRunners.com. Welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. As I mentioned last segment, the calendar has switched to November, which means it's basketball season, and this is our basketball preview edition of the program as the season opens next week for CSUB women's basketball. They'll be hosting Hawaii on November 13th at 1 o'clock in the Icardo Center. Head coach Greg McCall joining us on the show. Coach, good to see you. How you been?
I'm good. I'm great. Thanks for having me again.
Let's talk about this team this upcoming season. You're coming off a 12-19 season last year, 8-6 overall in conference play. How's the preseason kind of been for you as you prepare for the November 13th opener?
Well, last year our preseason was really, really tough. We had some tough opponents on there, and then the opponents that we thought that we'll be capable of beating, we lost those close games. 1 point, 4 points. This year we're looking at a different season. It'll be down a little bit as far as our level of competition, but it's still going to be pretty tough. We still got some really tough competition that's on the schedule, but we won't have that many ranked opponents like we did last year. But we're looking forward to that, and I think we'll be successful this year doing the preseason a little bit better.
Yeah, your non-conference schedule, again, though, challenging. Hawaii on the 13th, they're Big West favorites.
Yep.
Then Southern Utah on the 15th, both at home right away. Then at Oregon and Cal on November 18th and the 20th. And then home to South Dakota and Stanford. So not a lot of easy ones in that first month of the season.
No, not a lot of easy ones. It's good that we're challenging some, getting a good challenge, and we'll be definitely tested really, really early on. It's something that we like to do, something that we're trying to prepare ourselves for when it gets down to conference time.
And, how do you prepare for a team for kind of such a challenging schedule? And you've done it the last couple of years, while making sure they still have, that confidence and the ability to win some more of the winnable games and then be ready to go when conference rolls around.
Exactly. And that's something that, like, we've done before, the couple years before that. I think that was Ty's senior year. We did the same thing, and it helped us out a lot when it came down to conference time. And then this past season with Bada Bay's going in her senior year, we lost some close games there, even some against the bigger schools. When we had South Carolina, we were down by 4 points with 5 minutes and something to go into the game, and we ended up losing that game. But it did still help us out going into conference time. We still was able to kind of compete in the conference. We lost that close game to RGV there in double overtime by 1 point. That was a tough loss for us, but it did, kind of prepare us for the conference time, and that's what we want to do.
You brought up a couple of your senior leaders the last couple of seasons. So as you've worked in this preseason, who has kind of filled in those roles, I guess, leadership-wise on the court?
Amazingly, Erica Williams has done a great job. This is going her 5th year, and fourth year playing, and she's done a really good job so far on the basketball floor, leading us and getting people in the areas they need to get to, being really more vocal and just kind of leading by example at times. She's leading in all the stretches. She's leading us with all the drills. We kind of give her the things that we want to do, and she just kind of makes sure the players are where they need to be. And when those things aren't happening, I'm coming after her. So she knows that she has to get that job done. Brittany Sims has done a really good job, another senior leader who's been really vocal on and off the floor. She's been doing a tremendous job with that. And then Carrie Kleiss, who's another senior who set out 1 year. She's going in her third year for us, and she's done some really good job to getting herself stronger. Her body has changed a lot. She's not so frail, and got her on the weight program, and you'll see a lot from her this year as well, too.
For the second straight year, you're also replacing a dominant player. This time it was Badabe Zampari.
Yes.
Last year, she led you in scoring 11 times and rebounding in 27 of your 31 games. So how do you as a coach even try to go about replacing that?
Yeah, it's always tough to replace. It's like one of those players like Ty, you never get the opportunity to replace. You just kind of try to fill that void. The same thing going to be with Badabe. We're going to miss her, just that inside presence, being able to just throw her the ball and get out of the way and allow her to do her thing. And if she misses, she'll be able to get her own rebound back. We knew that was going to come. But we have several players that'll be able to fill that void. Jazz Barty this year, Brittany Sims. If you look at her body and what she's done, she's probably lost about a total of maybe 30-some pounds, and she's slimmed up and gotten stronger and faster. And then with Carrie Kleiss being in the middle. So it's probably going to take a combination of all those players to kind of fill that one void with Badabe, but I'm looking forward to these three young ladies doing that.
And it's the first time in a couple years you haven't had like one dominant player. Like you said, you had Tana Outland for a couple years, and she, like you said, you let her just get her the ball and let her do something. Badabe kind of the same last year. So now you don't really have one dominant player. So how does that kind of change the way even you coach this team, because you've got to have multiple players chip in?
Yeah, of course, the system. We have a really good system that we've been using, and we've brought this system back. It was actually the system that we used with Ty Outland to help her be able to get some easy buckets and be able to get everybody else involved. And so we're looking forward to using that system again. I think it's going to benefit us because we are going to be pretty dominant on the perimeter again this year. Erica Williams has been doing a really good job. She's been one of our kind of go-to persons this year, a little bit more than we've thought that we were going to have to, but she's been stepping into that void and kind of filling that role a little bit, and also getting our other people involved. We've been telling her she's going to kind of have to be our Draymond Green, where she's going to have to be that point forward at times, bring it up the floor. If there's a press that's going on, she'll be able to break the press, be able to pass out of it, get assists, be able to score from the perimeter, as well as be able to post up.
Now, let's talk a little bit about point guard. I've seen a lot of time out of Alexis Gilbert in practice.
Yes.
Is she kind of expect to be your starter out there? And who else might see time at point this season? Because, again, you lost the senior in Alyssa Shannon at that year spot last year.
Yes, and we're very happy with Alexis. She's actually stepped in that role. She's a sophomore. She got her feet wet last year. She did, played a lot of minutes when Alyssa was in foul trouble, or if Alyssa just came to the bench for a rest or whatever. She got an opportunity to do that, and so we're looking forward to her stepping into that role, and she's been doing a really good job of that. She's been really, really vocal. We've been really putting a lot more pressure on our point guards to really be more vocal and really kind of run the team, and she's been doing a really good job of that, along with Dallas Jones. DJ, she's been doing a really good job. She's small, just like Alyssa. We kind of wanted to, I guess, kind of get another mini-me. so she's been doing a really good job. She's tough. She's a pest. She's all over the floor. You'll get an opportunity to see that, how much she's of a pest to these point guards and how much she doesn't back down. She's a tough-nosed kid, and so we're looking forward to her being out there as well, too.
You brought up you wanted the guards, especially to be a little more vocal. Is that a little more challenging because they're so young? You've got redshirt freshmen, redshirt sophomores. So it's pretty underclassmen-heavy position for you.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely being underclass there. These girls will be, but we're looking forward to them. We're thinking that they can handle the role. We wouldn't put them in that position if we didn't think they could be able to handle it. And so she has her work cut out, Alexis does, and She's going to have to really continue to step up and be more vocal. We put a lot of pressure on her by, Coach Nikki, she does a lot of breakdown drills with our point guards. And then after every practice, she huddles the point guards to kind of go over their day in practice on some of the things that they did good and some of the things they didn't do so good. And so she's been really putting a lot of more pressure on them. And you can see the payoff of that really working in practice.
Where you have the inexperience at guard, you have the experience at forward this year. You've got players returning. Tylen Carter had a good year last year. Erica Williams, who's your highest returning scorer, she had 10 per game last season. So what's kind of the strength of that group out there?
It's going to be really good. Tylen, we're expecting a lot from her. If she can give us everything that she's capable of giving us, the one thing that she has to continue to do is just work hard every single day. And once she finds a definition of about working hard every day, every possession, she's going to be something special because she's really, really strong. She's really talented. She can shoot the 3-ball. She's only going to be a junior this year, but she's going to have to really find that definition about like working hard every single day and bringing it every single day.
And then we kind of talked a little bit about, but Erica Williams as well. I mean, coming back, solid year last year, chance to be a senior. We talked with her about kind of how her role changed in the last few years. But where do you kind of see her role this year, being a senior?
Oh, like I told you, I think she's going to be that Draymond Green for us. She's going to have to do a little bit of everything. She's going to have to bring it up the floor at times. She's going to have to post up at times. She's going to have to be able to step out on the perimeter, shoot the 3-ball. She's going to have to be able to come off of screen and rolls and be able to penetrate and kick to other players, as well as she's going to have to be able to set screens. And so she's going to be doing everything for us this year. And she's a special player, man, because you could throw a play in the next 5 seconds, Erica Williams have all 5 spots down pat. And, I mean, it doesn't take her long. She's that special a player. Her IQ for the game is so high. She's really, really smart. And it's her time to shine now. It's her time to bring that every single day, every single game. She's one of those players that she always waited to postseason to bring it. And it was good for us at that moment in time, but we're going to need her to bring it now during the preseason as well as even step it up even more during the postseason.
I want to ask about the center position. A couple options there, Jazz Barty, Carrie Kleist, Brittany Sims. Will this kind of be a position by committee this year?
Yes, definitely. Position by committee is exactly how you said it. It's going to be those 3 girls holding it down where Bada Bay held it down in that spot by herself and did a little bit of everything. Brittany Sims, who's a tremendous post defender, does a good job, can get out there and move her feet, and she's tremendous at taking charges. And then surprisingly enough, by her playing volleyball throughout high school, she can jump and block some shots here and there. Carrie Kleist is going to be one that's going to be a bigger surprise this year. She's been able to step out and shoot some 3-balls. She'll surprise a lot of people with that because of her height and then her running, her way she runs the floor. She runs the floor extremely hard, and that's been one of the things with all 3 of them. They run the floor, and then with Jazz Barty, just her overall athleticism, being able to jump up above a lot of people and being able to rebound. That's going to be her strength, and then just blocking shots and contesting shots and being a tremendous defender that way, putting a lot of pressure on people.
What will, and I use the term this way because it's such a long season and it takes so much time to develop. When it's all said and done, what will be the strength of this team, say, midway through conference play, heading into the conference tournament? What will be the strength of this team by that point?
I think mostly they're going to be on that defensive end. And we had a closed-door scrimmage and stuff like that against the opponent. I don't know if we're allowed to say that or not, but I won't. But we held them down to like just 57 points, and we went up to another closed-door scrimmage, and I think that was like a 60-point game. So our defense is going to be really, really good this year. We're so much more athletic than we were last year. Believe it or not, Bada Bay got defensive player, one of the second team all defense, I believe, but she wasn't our best defender. And Alyssa Shannon, I believe, got her junior year maybe got all defensive team, and she wasn't our best defender. And so these girls here, they are gone, but our defense is going to be so much better. We've added a couple more things that'll speed teams up and be able to turn the ball over a lot more. And then our capability of you'll see a lot more threes going up as well too on the offensive end. So because we have so many people that can knock down the 3-ball, just like Addie Walters, we're going to be running a lot of things for her. And we know that was one of the players that we didn't get to talk about here today, but can't forget about her.
Right, absolutely. No, and definitely a three-point threat. And you were picked fourth in both preseason polls. Talk about the teams ahead of you. Obviously, the favorites in Mexico State. You had some success against them, but what are they? If you know what they're kind of looking like this season, what their challenges are going to be this year.
I think their challenge is going to be they're losing their forward, their person that kind of like was their Draymond Green, who kind of did a little bit of everything for them, and then they lost their point guard as well too. And so those two players right there alone is going to be able to kind of weaken them a little bit more, especially being able to lose Sasha Weber. Yeah. But they still returned most of their players back. Rightfully they won it, so they should be the preseason favorite. Then going to RGV. They're going to be another team. They brought everybody back, but I think they lost a couple players. I think a couple of them transferred out, but they still brought back the MVP of the conference last year.
Yeah. I was going to get to her, Shantae Goff, who's what makes. I mean, she's one of those players that can kind of do a little bit of everything. Does that make it very tough to defend?
Yeah, she kind of does a little bit of everything. She was kind of like the way Ty was for us, being able to attack, being able to score in multiple spots on the floor, being able to run the point guard spot at times and get other people the ball, being able to assist. So she does a lot of good things. And then she's a long kid. She's very quick. And so that makes it really tough sometimes for us to defend. And so that's why, they're heavily favored in second place spot there. And then we're going into Grand Canyon. Grand Canyon, I think one of the things that the coaches and the media were looking at, they brought in a few fifth-year seniors and transfer seniors that were, tall. And so I think that's one of the reasons why they were looking at. Then they brought back one of their guards that was hurt last year. But I think mostly because they brought in a lot of transfers that were fifth-year players. And
you've had the last few years, you guys have played very well going into the conference tournament. You just get that semifinal hump. As a coach, is that like for you saying, I got to get over this?
I got to get over that hump. If I get past that hump, I think we've always said it'll be downhill from there in that championship game for us. And then that's the crazy thing about it, because every year that we've gotten to that point, every team in that championship game always say, we hope we don't face Bakersfield, because we know it's going to be problems if we get to that championship game. And so that's something that we got to get past, and we got to get that monkey off our back. And I think this will be another good year to be able to get there. We've gotten closer and closer each year. 1 point loss this past year in double overtime. So we're right there at the doorstep. We just can't take steps backwards. And this is one of the things that we're facing, that challenge of getting past that hump.
All right, Coach. Well, November 13th, you'll open up against Hawaii, 1 o'clock at the Accardo Center. And good luck then, and we'll keep updates you throughout the season.
Thank you.
All right, Greg McCall here on Roadrunner Rundown. When we come back, men's basketball head coach Rod Barnes joins us. We'll talk about the Roadrunners men's team returning from last year's NCAA tournament. We'll be back. This is Roadrunner Rundown.
Off the screen, Basil, 2 seconds.
A masterpiece of intelligence awaits you with technologies no car has ever offered. This is the all-new 2017 E-Class from Mercedes-Benz. This new E-Class is clearly the most technologically sophisticated vehicle developed, with innovations that enhance efficiency, safety, and comfort, including the world's first fully integral car-to-X communications, providing information well in advance of imminent danger. This new E-Class carries Mercedes-Benz tradition well into the future, and you can see the all-new 2017 E-Class today at Mercedes-Benz of Bakersfield.
The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund creates educational opportunities for over 300 student athletes at CSUB. By becoming a member and donating to the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, you're not only helping the Roadrunners fund the scholarship needs of our teams, you're investing in the future. The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund isn't just developing student athletes. We're developing tomorrow's leaders from lessons learned during competition. For more information, log on to gorunners.com/donate and become a member of the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund.
Basil, 2 seconds. Basil for the win.
CSU Bakersfield, champions made here.
Last week on Roadrunner Rundown, we speak with new head wrestling coach Manny Rivera about his first season at the helm of Roadrunners Wrestling.
Like I said, we're young, but we got a lot of hungry guys, and for us, we're going to try to beat someone people don't think we're supposed to, And whoever that is, whoever comes in or wherever we go, we're going to try to knock off some teams that, maybe people aren't expecting us to beat. The tradition here, the rich tradition. There's just, you can list off a giant list of names of people have come through this program, great teams, great coaches, everything. Bakersfield is a wrestling town. This is a wrestling school.
Plus, a look at the upcoming Bakersfield Marathon, which will benefit the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund.
This is a huge community endeavor, right? So we're looking for, I believe the last count was 547 volunteers.
Oh, okay.
So, in order to make this event work, we have to have people out there. And people have been great. They're signing up. We have tons of jobs.
Now playing on demand on GoRunners.com.
No.
Welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown. My thanks to Greg McCall, women's basketball head coach, joining us on the last segment. We continue on our basketball preview edition of the program, and joined now by men's basketball head coach Rod Barnes. Coach, it's November 1st, like I told Greg McCall, so that means it's basically officially basketball season.
It's official. It feels like the weather's cooled down a little bit, and it's time to play basketball.
November 1st, I said, you know what? Today's a basketball preview edition of the show. It's November 1st. I'm wearing my NCAA tournament watch.
Yep.
Just a little good vibes there. 24-9 last season, 11-3 in the WAC. Obviously won the WAC championship. Go to the NCAA tournament. What's the preseason been like for you as you prepare for your exhibition and then the home opener next Saturday night?
Well, it's been fun. Obviously, we've got some new guys on our team, and you're always excited about that. And, just trying to build that team chemistry and trying to find out how we, can best win games and, trying to put guys in the right position. So it's a lot of learning about the guys, and then the guys learning what you want. But it's fun because you got some older guys that kind of help during the teaching process. But it's been a lot of work, but it's been fun.
You had a close scrimmage last weekend, a chance to play somebody else. Did you like some of the things you saw in that time?
I was really pleased. I was really pleased overall. We had a few guys that were out. We kind of nicked up as far as injuries go. Nothing that's season ending, but got guys out for a few weeks and another few guys out for a few days. But I was really pleased with the way our guys played. There's one thing about it, and you take for granted something. When you've won, and had a great season, you take for granted that once you get back to the floor, that the guys that have been a part of that, they just have this confidence about themselves. And that's what I saw in our team. But I was really pleased with some of our new guys and the way they played. So, it was no surprises from the standpoint of, where we are. I think our guys have given me a clear picture of where this team where we are right now, where we could be.
Did some of the new players sort of fit into the mold already, were you happy with? Yeah, they know what kind of basketball we play. They're fitting in just like that.
Right. Yeah, I think because we kind of 2 years ago kind of started because we had figured out kind of in the WAC the way we needed to play,
right.
But also we started to recruit to our culture. The kind of kids we like, and not that we weren't doing that at first, but you just kind of. Swinging at the wind
right.
when you don't have a conference to be in. And now we've kind of, really broken things down. So we feel like when a guy comes in, he basically knows. We've recruited him, most of these guys for over a year. So you kind of know what you're getting, and they know what to expect. So it was kind of, business as normal, as usual. We got out. We really pressed. We played hard. We played together. And then we played with a lot of spirit and enthusiasm, which that was good to see because when you have that new guys, and we've got a bunch of new guys, you kind of wonder how long it's going to take for them to get in, get that kind of chemistry and that kind of culture that you're looking for.
Now, this season gets going with a fury because after you have the exhibition next Wednesday, the home opener next Saturday night against San Diego Christian, then it's on the road at Arizona, and then it's back home to UC Santa Barbara, who is a big fourth in the Big West preseason poll. They got one player, Gabe Vincent, who was a preseason all-conference selection. And so what do you see in that matchup?
Well, the thing is, I think about it is, first of all, we got out of the blocks really, and we all have to go and have some games that are guaranteed games, pay games, which they're fine with me, just for the simple fact you get a chance to play against a Pac-12 team, and we've been playing what I would consider teams that have been finishing at the bottom: Arizona State, Washington State, Oregon State. We played Cal, even though they're a little bit more in the middle. And I said, well, let's try the big guys. Let's try to see really how far, if we want to move our program forward, to one day to be a top 25 team, how far are we off? And, and you've been at the games. I mean, we could have easily beat Washington State. We could have easily beat USC. Could have easily beat Arizona State, and then we beat Cal. So we kind of got a gauge that we could play with those guys. And after going to the NCAA tournament, I said, well, let's see, really what we got to do, what kind of kids we got to recruit. Obviously, I've been at that level, but it was in the SEC, not on the West Coast. So we get a chance to do that, and I think we kind of get back down to teams that are kind of like us. I think we got picked third in our league. They got picked fourth in the Big West with Santa Barbara. So it should be a great matchup. Early on, we're going to get tested. We got Fresno State right after that, which is good. And then we go to a tournament. So we're going to get tested early, get some really good teams, which I think is going to make us better. I've been, preaching to our team, it's obviously it's not where we start, it's where we finish. And we're going to take the same approach every day. We're going to try to get better. And hopefully in March we can win 3 games and go back to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Arizona, by the way, in the AP preseason poll, ranked number 10. So I think
that's
it
great
might
scheduling,
be,
I think.
Yeah, it might be the highest ranked team we've played in a regular season. The Fresno State on the 22nd, you brought that up. We've had some really good games with those guys in the last couple of years, but the luck's kind of gone their way.
Right.
Do you, as a coach, now that you've been in the Valley for a while, do you kind of feel like, man, I really want to get that one?
Well, yeah, I do. I mean, because a couple of things. Obviously, we feel like we're a team that we want to own the Valley. I mean, I think we don't try to hide that. This is our area. Kern County is right in it, smack dab in the middle of it. So we feel like, hey, we're the team that should represent everybody out of the Valley. So, but they've got a lot of tradition But I think the most important thing is we played those guys close, kind of like New Mexico State. We've had the ball with a chance to win. We've had to get one stop with a chance to win. We had made a shot with a chance to win. We've had so many opportunities, and we've fallen short. But it's going to be a great game. They've got a lot of guys returning. They're big and athletic, so we're expecting a same kind of very physical, very athletic play game. But we need to get that kind of under our belt. It's one of the things that when you play a team and they're in the Valley again and they got great tradition, but, we feel like we're the up-and-coming team and we want to own the Valley. Just plain and simple as that.
And then after that, other non-conference games, of course, the Thanksgiving tournament you brought up at Wright State. December 2nd at SMU. Fran Facilla tweeted yesterday that he was at their practice and they're a dangerous team and all 9 scholarship players can play. That's always a tough matchup. They always are an athletic squad the way they recruit.
Well, they are. I mean, they're in a great recruiting spot, because they can recruit a lot of different areas. Dallas is really, really strong, but they can go into Houston, into Arkansas, into Memphis, Tennessee. They're just in a good area there as far as recruiting goes, and they've done a really good job with this team. And, again, another team that I feel like probably going to end up being in top 25, if not. And, by the time we get there, they'll be in the top 25. They've had a lot of success, but, again, we just tried to strengthen our schedule some. That's been the kind of deal, because – now we've made it to the NCAA tournament. Now we got to make that next step. And the next step is not just winning in our league. It's being able to play good competition every night and go out and win. So it'll prepare you for league play, but just with that schedule, just trying to ease up just a little bit without, having a really tough season in a sense, but having a challenging schedule and see, can we make that next move to be, what we want to be as one of the top 25 programs in the country. And I think we're on our way, and we'll get tested early with this schedule to see where we are.
NCAA tournament appearance, did it make scheduling easier or tougher? Do you have more people saying, yes, we'll play you because beating you is something now, or no, we don't want to play you because you're too good?
Well, it's tougher. It's easier to get games.
Yeah.
I would say that, but it's tougher because, do you play in Arizona? Do you go back and play someone that may be at the bottom of the Pac-12 or someone that may be at the bottom of their league, and you get the financial situation that you need, or do you make that step up? But then also you get calls from people that want to invite you to a little bit better tournament that you've been going to, and it's easier to kind of get games. But then it's harder for us because there's some teams that locally and regionally that would be good for us to play. And now, we going to the tournament, and they don't want to play us right now. So that makes it a little bit tougher. We got Santa Barbara, which we've been trying to get Big West schools for the last 3 years. And, we've had Riverside last year, but really trying to get some teams that we can drive, and save some money also. But and to get Santa Barbara, I think that was a step for us because I think they realized, hey, we're a quality team. And, obviously if we beat them, they feel like they've, lost to a respectable program. And so it's easy in that point, but also harder because we're having to travel to play some people when it should be some people here locally that we should be able to play.
Yeah, well, at least it's getting a little better, but obviously some work to do in that front. Stick around one more segment. We'll talk a little bit specifically about this team and these guys.
Okay.
All right, we're going to be back, folks. More with Rod Barnes when we return right here on Roadrunner Rundown.
Basil, 2 seconds.
What shall I do to put myself by your side? What shall I do to put myself along by your side?
For more than 75 years, Current Schools has been helping local people achieve local dreams. We have watched piggy banks emptied to reward a job well done, supported our teams, and tried our best to make life a little easier. We have been there when friends become parents, buy their family's first car, and build a home with a life to match, just like it was dreamed to be. Beyond dollars and cents is our pride of Kern County and the people who make it such a great place to call home. Together, let's turn more local dreams into realities so we can make life as it should be. Kern Schools. Together, we have something special.
Introducing TBC Mobile from the Bakersfield, California. The most complete news, sports, weather, video, opinion, and lifestyle coverage in Bakersfield and Kern County. It's the easiest way to stay up to date on all things local while on the go. Read it on your smartphone or tablet. Download now by searching Bakersfield Californian in the Apple, Google, and Amazon app stores.
We strive to achieve excellence through determination and hard work.
We are committed to learning from those around us,
Our professors and peers.
Our coaches and teammates.
And our opponents.
We compete with integrity and passion.
And we seize our moment when the opportunity arises.
We take pride in our communities.
And believe that we can inspire others
just as they can inspire us.
We may wear different colors, but we share the same purpose. We learn, we compete, we inspire.
We are
the Western Athletic Conference.
The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund creates educational opportunities for over 300 student athletes at CSUB. By becoming a member and donating to the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund, you're not only helping the Roadrunners fund the scholarship needs of our teams, you're investing in the future. The Roadrunner Scholarship Fund isn't just developing student athletes. We're developing tomorrow's leaders. From lessons learned during competition, for more information, log on to gorunners.com/donate and become a member of the Roadrunner Scholarship Fund.
Off the screen, Basil, 2 seconds. Basil for the win!
CSU Bakersfield, champions made here.
What a moment!
Welcome back to Roadrunner Rundown, joined now by CSUB head men's basketball coach Rod Barnes. We continue to preview the upcoming season as the Roadrunners will open up on November the 9th in an exhibition against the Masters University, and then November 12th against San Diego Christian. We want to talk, Coach, as people have previewed this season, so many want to talk about what you lost as a team, and a pair of seniors, Ali Ahmed, Kevin Mays. Few are talking about the additional depth, though, that you have on this team, and before it's all said and done, you kind of like that considering nobody's really talking about what you have this year.
Well, I am. I mean, that's really a good space to be in when you start dealing with your team because no one's talking about those guys.
Right.
So you kind of get them motivated every day that they're not talking about them, and it's lack of respect for them. But it's kind of a motivation thing for our guys. But I'm pleased with our team. Obviously, again, we've got some experience that we need to develop, and we've got, chemistry that needs to be there. But, I like our pieces to our team. I like our leadership and where we are. So we're looking forward to the season. And, I think, again, I keep telling our guys, I think this team can be as good as last year's team once we get to the end of the year. Now, I'm not sure we could be as good right away.
Right.
But before it's all said and done with the depth that we got and caliber players we have by the end of the year, I'm expecting this team to be really, really good.
But even last year, you look back, we like to remember the high points, but early in the year, we had some struggles at Wyoming,
right.
Really bad game at St. Mary's, and some games that just didn't go our way,
right.
and then it kind of clicked and everything
right.
sort of fell in the right spot. So obviously it's a long season, and it's really about how you're playing at the end.
Well, it is. You with us all the way. And you realize probably that light kind of went off that transition when we was at Riverside, really. So, that's late December.
Last non-conference game.
Last non-conference game. So, we have a plan, hopefully, that's in place that by the time we get to the end of the year that we'll be, again, that's good. I think we have the pieces to do that. And it's a lot of work that goes on between now and then. It's just like you said. That's what happened to us last year. We had some tough blows. We lost at Idaho, and a team we had just beat about 20 points or so. So there was some ups and downs, but all along we kept believing that our team could be a special team, and I feel really strongly about this team here too.
Looking at some of the guys specifically, you got a couple players, speaking of the post play, guys like James Super, Sean Briggs, remind me a lot of a guy like Kevin Mays, sort of undersized, but they can play above the rim.
Right.
What are you expecting out of those two this season, kind of replacing that position?
Well, I think that's one of the things that I think, where we had Kevin last year, and that was just one guy. We got several guys right now that we feel like we can throw into those roles. And like you said, they're similar to Kev, big-body guys, kind of undersized guys, but really athletic and really tough and can do, a lot of different things. And especially Sean, he's more of an inside-outside guy. But then you got James Super, who's more of an inside guy, but really, powerful, really explosive. So that's the thing that I feel like, when you got a guy like Matt Smith returning who's played and been around our program a long time and had a great scrimmage the other day. I just think, we lost a lot with Kevin and Ali, and obviously we can't take anything from him. We're two first-team all-league guys. But I think we've got the numbers that we can make up for some of that we're losing. And then I think, a Dedrick and a Jalen and a Brent Rapp and Justin Pride and Damian, I think those guys are better. So I think they are better, even though our team may not be as good as right now as it was last year at this time. But I think by the end of the year, I think this team is going to be a tough out.
You brought up the guards, and that's going to be your strong suit, especially early on. Can you remember a time in your coaching career where you've had this experience and talented of a guard group going into a season?
Right. Well, it's kind of funny. When we went to the Sweet 16, we had a bunch of guys that were returning from the guards. We had a couple of new guys that were coming in the post. But, I don't know if we had this much experience, going into at those spots. Before, we had a couple of freshmen, a couple of sophomores, and then we had some senior leadership when I was at Ole Miss. But, we're deep at that position, and we've got a lot of experience. Guys have played a lot of minutes, and a lot of minutes have been played together. And, I think, again, as you just said, just to reiterate, I think that's our strength early. Later on, again, at the pace that our forwards, big guys are coming, I just think we're going to end up developing being a complete team.
And Dedrick Basil had a special season last year. Already preseason all-WAC. Recently, College Court Report said he is one of the non-Power 5 conferences, but guys that will be household names in 2017. And you brought up earlier about the confidence of the team after being in the tournament. I just have seen that in Dedrick. I mean, it's like he changed as a player, and he really is more of a scorer now. Do you expect him to be more of a scorer, more of a point this year?
No, I'm more of a scorer. I mean, his confidence has been out of the roof, and sometimes, and I guess it just happens. You have moments in life, time that you have. Last year in the NBA Finals, Kyrie Irving hit a shot, and he's been on a kind of tear ever since. And that's why I feel like Dedrick. I feel like he felt, during conference play, he had started to really, really play well. But, man, I mean, after he hit that shot, he had a great spring. And, this summer we kept saying through workout, he's unstoppable, really. And he's carried that on. And, we feel like he's a guy that can go out and get us 16, 17, 18 points a game. And that's saying a lot when you got some other guys around you that can also score.
Brent Rapp has been here for 4 years now, redshirt junior, spent some time working a little bit, scoring more in the offseason. But, where do you see his biggest impact this season?
Well, I mean, the thing is about him, I think he's been a guy that's been in our program that's, people talk about glue guys, and I'm not sure he's a glue guy as he got to make plays for us, whether that's tipping a pass or diving on the floor or taking a charge or getting a big rebound. He's been able to do that. And that's what we're going to have him do this year. More of a guy that's versatile, but also, a guy that's going to be right in the middle of everything. He's going to run our team. The thing is Justin Pride, who I thought struggled some last year, has really had a great spring and summer. So we tried to move Brent off the ball a little bit just for scoring purposes as far as shooting, but you got to try to keep him on the floor. Mm-hmm. So I just expect him to be better at a lot of things, but probably most improved in his shooting.
And Jalen Arrington, I've talked to some of the guys, and I've asked them, who do you expect to break out this year? And they all keep saying, watch Jalen Arrington.
Well, he's the guy. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he's one of the most talented guys on our team. I mean, even, this morning we had a little workout. I mean, I've been playing him at the point just because Justin Pride is out and, injured right now. And the great thing about it is he handles the ball well. He knows what we're doing. I play him at forward positions if that's what I want to do, and they fit. It's not one of those things that we're trying to push him into something that he's not. He's just been around, and he's really improved. He's worked, and he deserves to have a great season, and that's what we like to see our seniors go out on a good note.
And finally, this is you're going into year number 6.
Yeah.
You went to the NCAA tournament last year, got the program kind of where you wanted it. Do you kind of look back into your first day on the job in 2011 to now and be like, wow, we came a long way in a short amount of time?
Well, yeah, I have. I mean, because it's so many pieces that have fallen into place, and a lot of people have worked extremely hard around the clock, and people continue to do that. And, that's one thing that I think that's become a culture kind of in our department. We're always pushing and pushing and pushing because we're not where we want to be. I mean, obviously we're better. Our program is more on solid foundation, and we've gotten away from the APR problems. We got fans that are coming. We're selling tickets. But, and we talked about this earlier in the broadcast, that we want more. We're not a top 25 program. And that's my desire for our program, that, each year people are talking about us going to the Sweet 16 or being our league champions and things like that. So to do that, you've got to keep working and keep pushing. And I do. I look back even as I was driving down here, I thought, man, when I first got here, first of all, we didn't even have this. So
it was in my office. It was a podcast that we recorded in a trailer.
So I'm like, okay, I'm making this trip down. But I started thinking about some of the things, as you talked about, and that are in place now. And also kept the vision and the dream of, we want more. So, we're pleased and happy, but we're not satisfied.
Yeah, well, we'll try to make it back-to-back starting this next Saturday night on November the 12th. Again, the exhibition on November 9th. So, Coach, season's here. Good luck to you, and we'll be talking plenty soon.
All right, thank you.
All right, Head Coach Rod Barnes here on Roadrunner Rundown. Don't forget, next week on the program, CSUB President Dr. Horace Mitchell will join us in studio. We'll talk about CSUB, the impact of athletics, and even the impact that last year's NCAA tournament run had on the university. We'll talk with him about all things CSUB on next week's program, and we'll be doing a live version of the show as well on campus, November 22nd, which is the night that we host Fresno State at the Carter Center. So be looking out for that as well in the coming weeks. Get the show anytime on demand at GoRunners.com. Don't forget this evening, if you want to head out to the Icardo Center, the folks with our Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and all the teams are going to be having a lip sync competition. So they're going to, I don't know what, you will be worth the $5 price of admission. I guarantee you that much. It's going to help the Toys for Tots campaign as well with the CSUB Student Athlete Advisory Committee and the Western Athletic Conference SAC as well. So opportunity to come and be entertained outside of sports with some of the student athletes, and of course help a good cause as well. Toys for Tots locally and WACSAC benefiting, and that'll be at the Icardo Center this evening at 6 p.m. and tickets are $5 for that. And we will catch you next time. Again, the show on demand, GoRunners.com. Follow us on Facebook, Facebook.com/CSUB Roadrunners, on Twitter and Instagram at CSUB Athletics. We will catch you next week. This has been Roadrunner Rundown.
Off the screen, Basil, 2 seconds.